This feels weird, Jeff.
Why won't they come near us?
Wow.
It's beautiful. Did you see that? Something's on me.
They won't let us leave.
Why are they doing this?
Got something to do with the ruins.
Get off me! It's inside me. I want to cut it. I'm not okay. You keep saying I'm okay. I'm not okay. Why won't you look at me?
Okay, now we are going to talk about The Ruins.
Yes.
This is about a group of attractive young folk that are visiting Mexico and decide that they need to go off the beaten track and have a little adventure on their own.
Yes.
Which in horror movies is just always a bad idea.
And here's the thing, is that this is why this genre is a little bit personal to me, is because that's what I like to do too.
Yeah.
I've traveled a little bit, I've seen a bit of the world, and yeah, I tend to...
I don't want to go where all the
detours.
tourists go and buy the same exact memento that every other tourist gets. I want to walk off the trail and go find my own memento.
So suddenly I find myself on the side of a mountain, sleeping in the middle of a jungle, and not knowing where I am. So I've done something similar to these. And then with vacancy as well. I mean, I grew up going on road trips with my parents, so I know what it's like to be 2 a.m. in the middle of some bunghole motel, just wondering, why am I here and what will happen to me if I fall asleep?
Can I sleep on this warm bed of cockroaches?
Is it safe? Is it safe, do you think?
The film's directed by Carter Smith. I think this is his first feature, and there's a new one coming out right away, but I have not seen it. I think he did a fairly solid job in the directing. I don't have a lot of complaints about that.
Yeah.
And the screenplay is adapted by the author of the novel on which it is based, and his name is, wait for it, Scott B. Smith. And apparently there were actually some not insubstantial changes in the script. Just to go back to the plot, just so we can orient everyone. We got 2 couples and sort of a hanger-on, really, that decide that they're going to go off the beaten path and find these titular ruins.
Yes.
And hang out, maybe camp out, and see what they can see.
Yes.
The trick is that once they get to said ruins, the locals seem to really not want them to leave. In fact, they make it impossible for them to leave. If they get too close to the locals or too far out of those ruins, they will be killed brutally. So all they can do is sort of stand at the top of these stone structures and wait for rescue that will not come.
That's just not coming.
And try to figure out what is exactly up these people's ass. Why won't they let us leave? And that discovery is sort of the slow unspooling of the movie. And it's bad news for everyone involved. So what did you think of The Ruins?
I found it disturbing. I found that there were some scenes and some moments there that really grabbed me, that really startled me. And also, I guess really kind of a slow build. You sort of realize what's going on, and you realize the danger these characters are in.
The sort of desperation that you're going to get out of these people.
Because it's something that kind of is in this genre, just in general. Is a sense that there's really no peace. There's no safe moments. Like in the first series that I did, the first set that I did, there was scare and then there was we're safe. There's scare and then we're safe. Whereas a lot of these movies, they
don't let you feel safe.
There's really none of that. There's this. You're in this situation. It gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, and you either live or you die.
Yeah.
And that's really sort of this genre in a nutshell. And this one is definitely one of those ones where it's not like suddenly they're going to be safe again. It's just how horrible things will get before they go home or before they die.
Yeah. Well, there's the enemy without and the enemy within sort of distinction, and this movie kind of has both. There's a very direct threat in that if they leave, they will be shot. A kid gets his head blown off in front of them trying to leave. Like, they know that that's not a real viable option. They could try to run for it, but chances are they're just going to get killed. Mm-hmm. So basically, days start going by, and as the time goes by and as they realize what these ruins really are and what's happening, not only do they have to deal with the locals and with this bizarre plant that's sort of growing around the ruins and causing all sorts of problems, but they also have this psychological deterioration that starts to happen. And that's the other great thing about these backpacker traveling stories, is that you wander in sort of confident. I rule this place. There's nothing that I can't handle. And you find out very quickly that there's actually seriously lots of things that you can't handle at all. The second you lose your passport, or the second you find you're in a place you can't leave, well, you realize I'm so far from home that it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, even just the communication problems, where it's like, what's wrong? What can we do to make this right? Nothing.
And there's the language barrier there too, which doesn't get used in a lot of these movies, but I think is an important one. That you're in desperate straits. Your life is at stake, and you find someone who could help you, possibly. But you don't speak the language, so you have to do this absurd mime show trying to explain, what's happening.
And plus, they're in this situation where it's like they have to make these decisions, and they make some wrong. Well, they make some wrong decisions, or like, what is the right decision? What do we do in this situation? Basically, these plants start taking over, and
it's like you get infected by these plants,
yeah.
and they start growing in you,
yeah.
And they want to consume you. And once you die, the vines will actually coil up the bodies and drag them away. The horror within is very literal in that. The level of ick in this movie is substantial. People cutting into their own arms and legs to try and get either real or imagined plants out of themselves, and the kind of very real damage that does to a body is they don't flinch in this movie. I don't know if that's good or bad. I mean, it definitely keeps you in an uncomfortable place for a really long time, and it's doing what it wants to do, but it might hurt the rewatchability for me as far as like, hey, I'm feeling like watching The Ruin. Let's throw in some popcorn, let's invite some friends over and watch The Ruin.
I just want to see that suffering again. No, it was horrifying, and that's to its credit, I would say. It definitely brought that. By the end of the movie, I hated these plants. I was genuinely hating them. For a while, I was like, really? It's a strange, horrifying plant? But by the end, I really hated them. Yeah. So thumbs up to that.
Oh, and the outrage of the community around the ruins that just wouldn't let them leave. They just seemed to be acting so unreasonably and so evil, but they were really trying to protect themselves and, in theory, the rest of the world, right, from this place sort of growing outward. Anybody who would get quote-unquote infected and leave could cause problems elsewhere. And that was their motivation. It wasn't just bloodlust. Some interesting people to talk about in the cast. We've got Canadian Sean Ashmore, who's in the X-Men movies, and he also shows up. Right? Yeah, he was the X-Men. He also shows up in lots of horror movies, although he has a real hard time making it to the end credits. But he must like the genre or else have a good agent, because I've seen him in a few of these movies, and typically it involves cruel fate of some kind or another. You were also mentioning Jenna Malone.
Jenna Malone, yes.
She's been an actress since she was just a child, and has been, making the transition from child actor to adult actress. Yeah. She seems to take herself very seriously. She wants to present herself as a Jodie Foster type of an actress, but she keeps on taking these sort of Sucker Punch and the Ruins roles where she's kind of the hottie in peril. So I do think she has the goods, but I think she got most of her better roles when she was a teenager or younger.
Well, we'll see. She is in the up-and-coming Hunger Games sequel, This may be a launching point for her. She's talented.
No, and I don't think she's untalented. It's one of these people that I've sort of been watching grow up. I think we're fairly similar in age, and she's been in movies pretty much as long as I remember going to theaters. Every now and then I'd bump into Jenna Malone.
Yeah, there she is. And I do recall liking her. I do recall enjoying her performances.
Overall, is this a good horror movie? Yes, it is. Would I recommend it to anyone? Maybe I wouldn't. I think that this is definitely for the hardcore horror fans. This is not a PG affair. There's not warm tinglies. You're not going to sort of feel uplifted by this film. But it is very well done, and it does, like I say, it accomplishes what it sets out to do. So if this is it's not quite to the area of torture porn, but if you can handle a very visceral, very intense, violent movie, then by all means watch The Ruins.
Very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yes.
But if you're thinking, no, I don't think I like real strong levels of violence, well, maybe you want to go back to Vacancy. So it's got its ugly corners too, but I think it's all in all a little bit more of a friendly experience.